$4 billion, some of the sharpest engineers on Earth, and a brand name worth more than most countries' GDP. They had the patents, they had the factories, they had the goodwill of an entire industry resting on their reputation like a crown nobody dared touch. They built the car in every simulation. They tested it in wind tunnels, in mountain passes, on tracks in Nevada and Germany. They announced it at auto shows with lights and smoke and applause. The press said it would change everything. The investors said it was the future. The car never arrived. Not really. Not in the way it was supposed to. The software was late, the range was overstated, the interior looked like a concept car that had given up halfway through. Competitors that had been dismissed as irrelevant started winning segment after segment. The stock dropped, the executives were replaced, the product was quietly discontinued. And even then, they still failed. While the legacy giants were burning resources defending a position they no longer held, while the old guard was busy patching software that should never have shipped and issuing apologies wrapped in press releases, a joint venture between three of China's most dangerous companies was building something different. Not a response, not a derivative, not a Me Too wrapped in a new badge. Something that began in a room where the rules of the automotive industry were explicitly not invited. Chang'an, CATL, Huawei, three organizations that separately had already changed the rules of their respective industries. Together, they began working on a machine that treated every assumption in luxury automotive design as a suggestion and ignored most of them. And that's when everything started to slip out of control. On the surface, the Avatr 12 looks like a Grand Coupe. Long, wide, low, over 5 meters of body pressed close to the ground, nearly 2 meters wide, sitting on 21-inch wheels, C-shaped LED lights up front, a silhouette that moves like water. Former BMW designers worked on that shape. You can feel it in the proportions, the kind of language that premium German cars spent decades perfecting. It looks, in other words, like something you've seen before. And that's exactly where the trap is. There are no side mirrors on this car. Not retracted, not hidden, gone, replaced by high-definition cameras feeding a digital rear-view display inside the cabin. Gone is the drag, gone is the noise. Gone is the blind spot caused by a chunk of plastic jutting out at highway speed. The aero benefits alone are significant. But that's not even close to the most radical decision made in the design of this vehicle. There is no rear window. The roof simply closes, sheet metal where glass would be. The tow panoramic sunroof extends all the way to the rear passengers because there's nothing at the back of the roofline to stop it. A 4K camera with a hydrophobic lens built flush into the roof antenna handles everything that a rear window traditionally provided. Rain repels itself. The image is cleaner than your eyes would ever deliver through glass. And this is just the beginning. Step inside and what you find is not a car interior. It's the concept of an interior taken to its absolute conclusion. Nappa leather covers every surface, suede lines the ceiling, natural wood runs across the center console. The design language is called Vortex, and it pulls everything toward a central point, a 35-inch 4K screen mounted at the far end of the dashboard, commanding the cabin the way a stage commands a room. Beside it, a floating 15-inch display. Below it, HarmonyOS 4.0, Huawei's operating system, running with the kind of fluency that makes you realize most car interfaces have been designed by people who've never used a smartphone. The steering wheel is square, Formula One architecture, flat on top and bottom, because somebody in that room decided this was a driver's car, and a driver's car should feel like one. But what comes next changes everything. In the rear of the cabin, the Avatr 12 does something that should not be possible at this price point, and probably won't be for long at any price point at all. The rear seats operate on what the engineers call a gravity zero system. They recline, they elevate the leg support, they activate massage programs that map to specific pressure points. The floor is completely flat, no tunnel, no intrusion, nothing to compromise the space. The panoramic roof extends over your head. Two 50-watt wireless charging pads with active ventilation sit at your side, and the trunk is separated from the cabin by a full metal barrier. No tire noise transmits through, no road hum, nothing. The rear of this car is quieter than most hotel rooms. And this is where it becomes uncomfortable. The battery comes from CATL, the company that makes the cells for a significant portion of the world's electric vehicles, including many of the cars that have been called best in class for years, built a 94 kilowatt-hour pack specifically for this platform. It charges at 800 volts. 10 minutes of charging, 200 kilometers of range recovered. That is not an estimate. That is the architecture working as designed. Charge while you have coffee, leave with range that used to require an overnight stay. Total real-world range sits above 500 kilometers. Power output reaches 578 horsepower. Torque lands at 66 kilogram meters. 0 to 100 in 3.9 seconds. These are not numbers you negotiate with. These are numbers that end conversations. At this point, this is no longer competition. Let's talk about the machine that the Avatr 12 is most frequently placed beside, the BMW i7. One uses traditional optical mirrors. The other removes them entirely, replacing them with cameras. One operates on an infotainment system built by a car company. The other runs HarmonyOS, built by the company that makes some of the most advanced telecommunications hardware on Earth. One charges at standard voltage. The other charges at 800 volts. One makes passengers comfortable. The other reclines them, lifts their legs, and massages them in silence. This is not a comparison. This is a generational gap. This car doesn't compete, it replaces. Now we talk about what's on the roof. There is a LiDAR unit behind the windshield, internal, invisible, scanning everything ahead. Two more LiDAR units sit in the fenders. 11 cameras cover every angle. Radars fill the gaps. The system reads the road surface 500 times every second, cross-referencing the data from cameras and LiDAR to predict what is happening to the asphalt before the wheels make contact. The suspension is air-based. It adjusts before problems arrive, not after. The system is called Huawei HarmonyOS 3.0. It is not a driver assist feature. It is a different relationship with the concept of driving entirely. Valet parking exists on this car. You exit, you walk away, you tell the car where to go via your phone, the car finds a space, parks itself, and returns to you on command. This is not a demonstration mode. This is the function operating in live traffic in China today. And this is where the industry loses control of the narrative. Think about what this actually means for the person sitting behind that square wheel on a Monday morning. The car scanned the road before you hit the pothole. The suspension adjusted before you felt anything. The camera saw the vehicle in your blind spot before you checked. The rear passengers are reclined, connected, insulated from road noise by a wall of metal. The 35-inch display is running navigation, media, and climate as a unified interface designed by the same company that runs the chips in modern smartphones. You charged it in 10 minutes at the station on your way in. You'll get home with range to spare. And when you reach your destination, you step out, tell it where to park, and walk inside. And this changes the entire game. Think back to that company at the beginning of this story. $4 billion, the engineers, the announcements, the simulations, and the wind tunnels and the press applause. All of it built on the assumption that the future of this segment would be decided by the people who had always decided it. While they were running those simulations, while they were managing those supply chains and protecting those margins, a joint venture nobody outside of China took seriously was hiring former BMW designers, plugging in Huawei's AI stack, and specifying a CATL battery that redefined what fast charging could mean. The failure wasn't the product, the failure was the worldview. The assumption that because something has always worked a certain way, it will continue to. The assumption that luxury means what it meant in 2015.
The assumption that consumers in this segment aren't watching what's coming. They are watching. The Avatr 12 arrives in Brazil in 2026 through CATL Chang'an, and it will cost significantly less than the German alternatives it is designed to surpass. You are not being asked to compromise on comfort to get this technology. You are not being asked to pay a premium for a new name. You are being offered a machine that was designed from the ground up by people who had nothing to protect, no legacy, no dealer agreements, no 30 years of badge equity to manage, and built it the way it should have been built the first time. The question is not whether this car is good enough. The question is whether you're still measuring good enough by the standards of an industry that already failed to see it coming. You're not choosing a car, you're choosing which era you belong to. The problem isn't that this arrived, it's that you're still looking at the past.